Welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, we're going to answer the question, is the notary signing agent business saturated or not? So if you're new to the channel and you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. All we do is constantly update and put out great notary signing agent content to help you add more money to your bottom line and to feed your family. Free to do it. Hit the subscribe button, please. Now, to answer the question, is the notary signing agent game saturated? The simple answer is yes, but it does not mean that you cannot be amazingly successful in the business. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, Brad, if it's saturated, maybe that there's no other opportunities left is maybe what you're thinking if you never have become a signing agent before, or you're thinking about getting into it. Let me give you some perspective. If I ask you, should I open a grocery store? Is the grocery store game saturated? The answer is yes. What about being a realtor? Yes. Hairdresser? Yes. Plumber? Yes. Saturation in the market means that there is strong demand and a lot of revenue potential in that market. Therefore, a lot of people go to that market to try to earn. And that's great because there's plenty of revenue to choose from. Now, what some people mean when they ask, is the market saturated, whether it's talking about Airbnbs or a notary signing agent, is they're trying to say, hey, is this an undiscovered, untapped market? Do I have a first-person advantage, first-person mover advantage to jump in before everyone else finds out about it? So if that's what you mean, no, it is not a surprise. Everyone knows that being a notary signing agent, or at least plenty of people know, that there is money to be made in this industry. COVID definitely helped flesh that out and make it much more obvious. Trainers popped out at the wazoo and pumped their courses and made everyone aware of it. So yes, and people got paid, which is fine. It's not a surprise in this industry. However, just like all the other industries I just named, grocery stores, plumbers, realtors, hairdressers, in every single one of those industries, just like ours, it is the Pareto principle, which is the, if you don't know, the 80-20 rule, which pops up a lot in business, which is that only 20% of the market will have 80% of the profit, or 20% of the market that are really, really good, and 80% who are just, not that great, below average at best. And the people that are killing it, those 20%, because they are that much better than the other 80%, they will feast. They will do just fine. It doesn't matter what market it is. Recession, booming economy, doesn't matter. They will kill it regardless because they're willing to do what the 80% will not do. I'll give you examples of that shortly as a notary signing agent to give you some perspective of what you could do to go above and beyond and what you're not doing. But the 80-20 rule always holds true, no matter what market we're talking about. So the short answer is yes, the notary signing agent game is saturated. Plenty of players, but plenty of revenue opportunities to stand out and make a lot of money in the business if you do some of the things we're going to talk about on this episode. Now, as far as examples of what the 20% do in the notary game that the 80% don't do, I'll give you a few. Number one, the 20% will typically be looking to hand pick up documents and hand drop off documents, as opposed to the 80% will be more concerned about saving gas and time and going to FedEx and scanning and dropping versus driving all the way back to an office to hand drop off afterwards or hand pick up prior to. But the difference is if you're that 20% that's willing to go out of their way for the client to save the client money and time they can fund right away, because if FedEx has a bad day and those documents are lost or those checks are lost, they're up shit's creek. If you're willing to go out of your way to do that, you will stand out. Next, when you're marketing, if you're willing to bring some kind of gratitude, which is coached heavily in Mark's loan signing system course, link in description below, affiliate link, help your brother out. If you bring gratitude, and we're teaching here for free, then you will stand out, because what normally happens is when a signing agent or signing service owner walks into a title office, as an example, they are just bringing a business card. They're not bringing anything of value. They're interrupting their prospective client's day, taking them away from what helps feed their family, and not showing any respect by bringing them something to show appreciation, that they're basically interrupting their day and taking time out to chat with them about maybe how they could help them in the future. So if you do bring in some kind of gratitude, doesn't matter if it's expensive or not, marketing baskets, bagels, donuts, baked cookies, pens, like whatever it is you're bringing in, bring something of value, because you will stand out in a sea of others, the sea of 80%. You will stand out as a 20% because you're willing to show appreciation for them. So bring gratitude when you are marketing, okay? Show thanks, and you'll be surprised what will happen, because otherwise it will have the feel of a sales call. So do what others aren't willing to do. What else don't the 80% do? Well, the 80% don't pick up the phone as a notary signing agent when they're getting started and call hundreds of signing services to introduce themselves themselves and let them know, hey, I'm just letting you know I'm in the business. I would love to take amazing care of your clients. Here's how I will do that, because I'll communicate from the table. I will call you if there's any issues. I will over communicate. I will walk them through the documents. I will hand hold if they need it. And I will make you look amazing and therefore make your clients look amazing. I have all this training, these hours and hours and hours of training, this course, that course, this course, that course, loan signing system, notary signing, agent certification from the NNA, all of that. And could I be added to your preferred list, or what would it take to get added to your preferred list? If you don't ask, you'll never know, okay? It never hurts to ask. Wayne Gretzky, you miss all the shots you don't take the freaking shot, okay? But the 80% are not willing to pick up the phone because it's uncomfortable to call someone you don't know at all and pitch yourself. I get it. But the 20% that do that, they kill it, because even though they'll call 300, even if they only get through to 10%, 30 of them that they convince to get on their preferred list, when a signing service like our team, Superlative Signings, sends text messages out, the order of the text message is not everyone at once. It's literally the number one person on our preferred list in that zip code, and then 15 seconds later, then the number two person on that preferred list in that zip code gets a text, and then the number three, etc. So it goes through the preferred list, then the favorites list, then the premier, which is when you pay $3 a month for an extra zip code. If you're in that zip code where you're paying $3 a month, you'll land there. And then everybody else, either sorted by distance like others do, or like we do, we sort by experience, number of closings on the platform. So in other words, those 30 that they close, or the 300 they call, and they get added to the preferred list, they're like, number 1 to 5. So like every text message in their area is coming to them, and they're getting all these great opportunities, so much more than the 80% who are just signing up online but not introducing themselves by phone, text, or email. And they're wondering why it's slow, because they're not willing to do the uncomfortable things that it takes to be successful in this business. Calling people on the phone, introducing yourself relentlessly, going to title offices, networking events, bringing gratitude, pitching yourself there, and seeing how you can help other people's businesses. They're not willing to reach out and do those things because it requires effort. It requires you getting uncomfortable. And people, we are humans. We are so freaking comfortable, it's crazy. And we don't want to get uncomfortable. If it's 74 degrees, we got to crank the AC down to 72. If it's 68 degrees, we got to crank the heat up to 70. Like, we cannot get uncomfortable to save our lives. And we wonder why nothing changes in our life, because we're just trying to stay in our little bubble and be comfortable. And work our 9 to 5 and come home and watch TV and be on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok for hours and go to bed and do it all over again. So do what the 20% are willing to do, not what the 80% of below average people, below average performers are doing. And the 80% below average, they're the ones complaining, quitting, and talking crap about that business opportunity because they weren't willing to do what the 20% is willing to do. And as they drop out, guess where their business goes? Goes right over here to the 20%, because something else they're doing that the 80% are not, consistently marketing. And when I mean consistently, every single week, 52 weeks a year, every year, whether they're on vacation, they're sick, they have systems in place, so they are marketing and following up every freaking week. And that is what it takes to be successful in any business, is consistency at a high level. Think of the best athletes in the world, Tiger Woods, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. Were they consistent as hell? Were they out working their other teammates, the other people in the league? Were they working out 1 or 2 more times than the other person? Were they drilling longer? Were they getting up earlier? All those things, yes. Because they're in the 20%. Now, they're like the less than 1%, but you get it. Like, the 20% are willing to do the extra work and the extra grinding and hustle that the 80% aren't. And that little bit more effort, that 10%, 15% more effort gets them so much more business. And that's the secret of business, is that these people here who are willing to put in more consistently just crush everyone else in the long term, because they are just putting in the freaking reps, man. That's it. Just let that sink in. This is not some secret of the rich. Like, if you're willing to bust your ass every week for years on end, you will have success in any business, industry, endeavor, period, because you're just paid for your effort and your reps. And the more reps you do, you will get better, period. End of story. So put in the reps, regardless of saturation. And some people will bring up, well, what about location, Brad? I live in Texas. I used to hear this one a lot on Notary Cafe. Don't read those forums, it's depressing. Texas. Well, according to statistics, there are, 500,000 notaries in Texas. So per person, per capita, there are more notaries than any other state. That gets me fired up, because I hate people that are making excuses after excuse after excuse not to be great, not to put in effort, and to chalk it up to, it's out of my control. Oh my God, no one is going to come in and save your life tomorrow. The only person that is going to save your life and improve it is you. That's it. No one's going to save my life and make it better but me, because no one else cares about my life but me. Okay? No one else. Not the government, not my wife, not my kids, not my friends, not my coworkers. I am the only one who's going to make a difference in my life, okay? So you have to look at it that way. Don't let all the other outside noise and BS excuses people feed up in these forums and this negativity, which is why, number one, you shouldn't be in them. And number two, if you are in them, leave immediately, because if all you're in is negativity, it will seep into your brain and poison you to death. So you might want to ignore those groups and only be in groups that are positive energy only. But don't let that excuse of, I live in an extremely populated area of notaries. So what? That's a good thing. That means there's a ton of business. And the 80% who are lazy or who get lazy from having some success and then they just dial it back and take their clients for granted, you will come in and scoop their business right out from under them and they won't know what hit them, because you are willing to not settle, not get complacent, do what it takes, always do right by your client. If you live by that phrase, you will always kill it in this game, in any business, but especially this one, because it's a relationship business. It does not matter where you live. And the opposite is true. If you are in a super rural area, even better. You have less competition, and then the excuses I hear from the super rural notaries, you know what that is? It's, well, the next closest city is an hour and a half away. Perfect. Drive there, not every day, but drive there a couple times a month and market, because everyone in those big cities that you are nowhere near, they don't want to drive to your little town. So you can be the one-stop go-to shop that can print on the fly and that can, handle those closings when they're for them, because they don't want to drive to where you live. Or if you're just over the state line, if you're close within a couple hours of a state line, drive to the other state you're not commissioned in, market to the people over the line, because those title companies are licensed in your state, I guarantee it, and let them know, hey, I know not everyone on your team is commissioned in my state, and you're like an hour and a half, 2 hours away. You don't want to drive over here, but I can be your go-to local closer when you have those insert your state here closings, and I will handle that for you. Take great care of your clients, scan everything, and take great care of them. And that is how you market to them. That's the pitch to them, because they don't want to go to where you are. So there's no excuse of saturation, regardless of whether you're rural, urban, or somewhere in the middle. It's just excuses to not be great. If you're looking for easy money, this is not the business for you. It just isn't, okay? Maybe in 2020 it was easy money. You can answer text messages, do zero work, do zero marketing, and people would still be throwing money at you. That was the height of the market, 2% or lower interest rates. We will never see that again. In a normalized market where interest rates are historically normal, 5, 6, 7, 8%, you have to work. So if this is what you're looking for, an easy business, skip to the next YouTube video, because this business is not it for you. It requires effort, as I just told you. But if you do that 10% or 15% extra work, you will suck up all the business. But the lazy people won't, and they'll quit and they'll give up and they will fall off. Getting out of the employee mindset and into a business owner mindset is challenging, because if you've only ever been an employee like I was for 22 years, working in restaurants as a general manager, running other people's businesses, making other people successful and profitable and wealthy, and not keeping enough for myself, and working 50, 60 hours a week and missing out on vacations, holidays, weekends, missing out on my kids' events. I struggled to the business owner mentality because I was so used to being an employee, despite the fact that I was running other people's businesses. And one of the ways I got through that, I'm going to give you a list of great books you can read that will help. It's a combination of shifting employee mindset to business owner mindset, shifting that mentality of there's excuses of why I'm not being great too. No, it's just me. The only reason I'm not being great is me. I am the only one holding me back. I am the only constraint is me and my thinking. So here are the books I would recommend to shift that employee mindset to the business mindset about where you're not going to make any excuses. First off is The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. This is literally all about the compounded effect of decisions you make every day where you're going to hold yourself 100% accountable. Next is going to be my man Jim Rohn, and you can watch a lot of Jim Rohn clips from talks and presentations he's given on YouTube. Highly recommend. But as far as a book, a little bit lengthy, but a lot of great content would be The Power of Ambition, Jim Rohn, Jim R-O-H-N, Jim Rohn. Next, classic and oldie but a goodie by Tony Robbins, Giant Steps. Now it's a whole program, but you can read his abbreviated version in his book or audio book, Giant Steps. Next, Zig Ziglar, similar to Jim Rohn, Born to Win is the book I would recommend. And lastly, The Power of Purpose by Les Brown, L-E-S, Les Brown. All amazing books that will help shift that employee mindset to the business mindset and help you realize that if it's to be, it's up to me. In this case, it's up to you. So I hope this has helped you get some perspective on, is the notary signing agent game saturated? Yes, but does not mean you can still kill it and make 5 figures a month, 6 figures a month, 7 figures a month, 8 8 figures a month, 9 figures a year. It's as big as you want to blow it up, whether it's you as a signing agent or a signing service owner. It starts with your mentality and not making excuses to go after what you want, which is whatever that is for you, that drives you and fires you, or whether that's freedom, whether that's never working for someone else again, never having to ask permission to take a vacation, never missing another event that your kid has, whatever it is for you. More vacation homes, investing in real estate, whatever blows your skirt up, as I like to say, but whatever you're interested in, I hope that you get in this business, kill it, scale it, crush it, so you can have those things you want, things that excite you, and the freedom you want. And that's all I hope that you get. So if you have enjoyed this video, I hope it has fired you up a little bit. And please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share the video if you want. That would be amazing. And for my notaries out there that have direct title business, if you want to get paid 10% commissions every month to just introduce us to your title team, send an email to your title client with brad@superlativesignings.com CC'd. Introduce us, and anything that's out of state you can't cover anyway, because you're not commissioned in all states like we are. We'll cover it for your clients because we always provide amazing closers, full scans, and a lot of consistency like we talked about. That's a win for everyone involved. So if you're interested, info's in the description. If you're about to start a signing service, obviously ignore that. But if you're going to not start a signing service and go through that headache, we can get you paid to do nothing other than send an intro email. So I hope this video has added tremendous value to you and you take it and actually implement the steps. Read one of these audio books or physical books. Either way, whatever you like, they're all amazing. And I hope this has encouraged you to get in the game and to start taking what's yours, which is as much as you want to grow the business as you want. And until next time, I appreciate you watching to the end. You are the 1%. Peace.